average cost of making a pot of jollof rice for a family of 5 in Nigeria rose from about 8,000 naira in the third quarter of 2021 to 8,595 at the end of the first quarter of 2022, according to a new report by SB Morgan. SB Morgan, which is a geopolitical intelligence platform, disclosed this in its report titled the SBM Jollof Index Q4 2021 and Q1 2022. Geopolitics comes for dinner. Here is Dr. Ruben Abati on the morning show lamenting the high cost of jollof rice.
As you yourself have pointed out on this program recently, is that food inflation has gone up. I think it's over 17%.
That's correct.
There is more disturbing information that I've stumbled upon, that it now costs more to prepare
a pot of jollof rice.
Yes. For a family, a household of five.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Is it not SBM Intelligence?
We have them coming up today.
They just came up with a report that it has now become an issue for us to be able to eat jollof rice in this country.
That's correct.
7.3% increase.
Climb. That's correct.
So what World Bank is telling us about economic growth, except that economic growth translates into better access to jollof rice and pepper soup.
Then it's not correct.
No, there are issues. Except it translates into a growth in employment rates in Nigeria. Then you may just think that this is just textbook economics that is coming. Because we live here, we feel it.
We feel it. We do feel it. Glory Etim, analyst with SBM Intelligence, joins us now to discuss further. Glory, good morning. You heard Dr. Abati there. Nigerians are feeling this across the land. What are the what are the triggers in the your reports that led to this 7% growth?
Okay, 7.3 exactly.
7.3. Thank you.
Okay, so the triggers include insecurity. We've had over, say, 5 years of severe insecurity crisis, especially in the north part of the country, which is also like where most of the farming takes place. So what has happened is that, arable farms are no longer cultivated as a result of this conflict. And even when it is cultivated, the ones we don't have adequate storage for it. So like if you notice what's happened in the country between February and March, the prices of diesel, had gone up to 700 naira per liter from about 280 in December. So, adding all of this together increases the cost of preserving food. So if you use a refrigerator or a cold room, you know that you would need light. And in the past month, we experienced blackouts and, shortage of fuel. We had to buy from black marketers and all of that. So if you add all of this together, those are some of the causes. And if you move to the southeast, for instance, the whole sit-at-home protest and the reduced working days has led to the spike in food prices in the region. And speaking to some of the traders in that region, they told us how they have to sell their goods between 5 days, roughly 4 to 5 days, and so like the quantity they buy, they're very careful about the quantity they buy so that they don't have wastages.
Right.
And also, they try to, increase the prices should they have wastages too, so that they can replace their stocks.
Make up for the loss. Wow, thank you for that. All right, so you mentioned the southeast and the sit-at-home issues. Across the geopolitical zones, do the price of cost of making a jollof rice, does it vary?
Yes, it does vary. So for instance, while Wuse 2 has like the highest cost of making a pot of jollof rice.
That's in Abuja, right?
Yes, in Abuja.
Yep.
Bayside Market in Calabar municipality has the lowest cost. And while Wuse 2 is like a cosmopolitan market, and it has also been affected by the increased conflict around that area.
Yeah.
Some of the traders we spoke to also told us about how they are unable to travel to nearby cities to get food, produce, and all of that. And as a result of that, prices in the region has really gone up. If you noticed in our previous jollof index, people were going to outskirt markets like Nyanya
to
buy their stocks or their food items.
Yep.
And this was sort of a coping strategy for them. but you know, it has gotten to everybody. Like, there's no need going to outskirt markets, because outskirt markets are experiencing the same thing. So, you know, that's the thing everybody's facing across the markets.
All right, obvious question here. Obvious, very obvious question, but I'll still ask it. What's the impact on families?
The impact on families is that their diets are reduced, and you know, they're not so much concerned about the dietary requirements or all of that. They're more concerned about quantity. And for instance, meat sellers and even people who buy too told us that they're not concerned about quantity of meat, big portion of meat and all of that. All they want to do is just survive. And, you know, one of them told us how she moved from turkey to chicken, and then from chicken to fish, and then from fish to egg. And at the moment, egg costs about 90 naira, depending on when you buy and the size of the egg. So, you know, adding protein to food is really a huge concern to families at this time.
Protein is essential for muscle growth. Tell me about it. What can be done to reduce? Do you think that these price pressures will reduce in the short term, mid-term, or long term? How do you see what's the outlook?
Okay, so in the short term, a couple of factors, you know. So, you know, there are root causes of all these issues, and if the causes are not addressed, it would be hard for, you know, for us to see real changes. So, for instance, you know, the conflict in the northeast and now getting to the southeast part of the country, while that can be like a long-term thing, I think if there's effects for people to like import the difference in demand, the prices of food would go down a bit. And apart from that, in the long term, you know, we keep talking about supporting, like the government policies focuses more on supporting smallholder farmers and all of that. But, you know, for a population that is growing at a rate of 2.5, you know, it is important that we start thinking about mechanized agriculture. You know, is no longer what one person or so can cultivate. We have to start thinking about mechanized agriculture, and we also have to start thinking about you know, processing food. So it's not just, you know, this appetite for fresh food. We want to eat everything fresh. We also start thinking about processing our food and keeping them for a long period of time.
No, we want our food fresh. We want our food fresh, Glory. That's how. No, but I get exactly where you're going to. Quickly, a minute to go. As far as when is your next report coming out? When can we expect the next jollof? Q2 of this year.
Yes.
And I would assume that based on the factors you've laid out, we can expect your last year's report. I think it was the moon, right? They said it was the prices are going to the moon. Now geopolitics are coming to dinner. Next report, I think we can expect that prices will still be elevated.
Let's see what comes out of it.
While you do your research.
Yes.
Fantastic stuff. Glory Etim, analyst with SBM Intelligence. Thank you so much for joining us to talk about the latest jollof index. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.